afternoon, and here I am once again, and today it's to talk tarot, and we're going to be looking at a deck or a couple of decks and a journal that arrived. I'm going to be creating a second video at some point today or tomorrow to look at more books that have arrived too. Now, the decks I'm going to show you today, one has been out for quite a while, the other is a Kickstarter that I backed in around August or September of 2020. It was due to be with me by November of 2020, but due to COVID, postal restrictions, restrictions in creating the actual items to go with this deck, again, all because of COVID, really did throw a spanner in the works, and finally this arrived this last week. So here we are, over 6 months late, but it's better than not arriving at all. So what can I tell you about this? This is something that is quite unique and something that I'm really quite glad to have in my tarot collection. Well, not quite glad, I'm very glad to have it in my tarot collection. Now, the cards themselves are very minimalist. I ordered the Stardust tarot dice, and they're created by Space Delirium, and I ordered the, like I say, the full offer tier for this promotion, and I have to say I am impressed. Now, this is a deck that you are going to have to familiarise yourself with the symbols used within the decks themselves, and it won't be very difficult to do, but it will add another dimension to tarot. So the Stardust Minimalist Tarot comes in this two-part box, nice solid box, and the mini deck comes in the same sort of box, just a mini version of it. Okay, so I'll take both of these out so that you can see both decks. The larger decks have the black background, where the small deck has the white background. So this is your sort of test card. Okay, your it's space. You can see that by the stars and everything else on the black background. It gives you the names in English and the names in French on the other side of the major arcana, and also of the suits there at the bottom, and sorry, not the suits, the ace and the courts. The back of the deck looks like that. Okay, it's almost like looking at the Milky Way, really. Now, I'm just going to put the suits to one side and look at the majors first. And here we go. You will understand what I mean when I say that you have to familiarise yourselves with the symbols if you want to read with this deck. That's the Fool, the Magician, and as you can see, some of the symbols are what we are used to as well. The High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Lovers, the Chariot. I do quite like that for the Chariot. You've got the planets going round on their own axis, which is almost like us as human beings making our way around in the world on our own path and on our own course. Strength, the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, which, if you're looking at the dice that come with this, you'd have to make sure that you can identify the Wheel of Fortune to the Fool, for instance. it can look a little bit similar if you are not familiar with them. Justice, the Hanged Man, Death, the Black Hole, Temperance, the Devil, the Tower, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, Judgment, and the World. So there you can really see what I mean when I say they are minimalist in what they have on the card, the Minimalist Tarot. I have to say it's quite interesting, it's quirky, it's a different take on the tarot than what we are used to. Again, with the small deck, just grab out the mages there, and as you can see the difference, they have the white background. Okay, so I won't go through all of them, just show you how they look when they're small, just to do a size comparison. Just grab one of these, and also if you look, the backs are reversed. You've got the white at the bottom and the black at the top. So there is your larger size, and that is your small size. It's not quite, but nearly a quarter of the card. Okay. So that is the mini version of the Stardust Tarot by Space Delirium. Just pop them away. Now we're going to have a look at the suits. I won't go through every single card in the suits because they're pretty much the same. I'll just pick a couple from each one and then look at the courts. So here we have our Ace of Wands, and our Two of Wands. So here they have the number in the centre with the symbol in each of the corners, and you've also got your traditional card symbol on the suit as well. So this comes with a diamond in each corner for wands. When we get to the courts, there we have the Page, which is a feather, a Knight, the Queen, and the King. This is our cups, there's our ace, and then our numbers are like that. And again, you have the hearts in the top corner there, along with the cup. Then once again, same with the courts. The courts are the same for all of them, except for the symbol and the card symbol, the traditional playing card symbol. So they're quite different to what we're used to, and really, in a sense, you haven't got any images in them in order to feed your imagination or your intuition, but you do have the freedom to allow your own intuition to come through, because it's not being guided, it's purely from you, because, as I say, it is so minimalist. You know, there's nothing there that could say to you, right, have a look at this and let that prompt your imagination, which I actually quite like, because it does give you a sort of mental freedom, if that makes any sense. You know, it gives you free rein to say, well, this is what I am getting from this card. You know, you might refer back mentally to what you have learned through either an RWS system, a Marseille system, even the Thoth. You could combine all of them, but then you add your intuition to that. Because there's no prompting as such with images, it's sort of free to go, you know. Here we have our Pentacles, as you've seen, that's swords, and it's pretty much the same. So that is the Stardust Tarot, and it is, as I have said, by Space Delirium. Now I'm going to show you the reason I ordered these, and it was for this particular box, okay? And it's ironic, I recall actually, in fact, I had been doing searches for tarot dice, and I actually couldn't find any at all. Sometimes there would be images to people who had created their own version of a tarot dice, but nothing that I could just go out and buy. And I just happened to put tarot dice in the search on Kickstarter, and this is what popped up. It had literally just gone up as a Kickstarter, and I thought, that's what I'm looking for. You get a little book with it, okay, and in the book basically it just gives you the meaning of each, well, keywords to go with each of the cards or each of the faces of the dice. So let's have a look. I'm going to read this brief introduction to you so that you can get the gist of the dice. Stardust Tarot Dice is a new approach to tarot, something to explore that offers simple and accurate readings. The dice are here to guide you in your personal growth. They are the perfect little companions for your divine journey. There are 13 dice with symbols, 6 sides totaling the 78 Rider-Waite tarot cards. Divination has been done in all sorts of ways over the years. With the dice, we came out of our comfort zone to create something special. We hope you will find a connection to the dice and that you will enjoy this alternative method of doing tarot. Drawing the dice. The dice have different applications than tarot cards, but divination is what you make of it. With time, you will start thinking up many ways to use these dice with your intuition. The dice will clarify the great uncertainties of your life and help you discover your own magic. They are great for beginners or experienced readers. Start off by familiarising yourself with the symbols of each of the dice for a more insightful experience. Think of a question you want to ask the universe. It can be as simple as, what do I need to focus on today? Use the pouch to shuffle the dice while concentrating on the question. We recommend these 3 draws to get you started. So the first draw, take 1 dice from the pouch at a time and roll it for a reading. Or take several dice, roll them together and read them from left to right. We recommend using 3 dice for an easy reading or a past, present, future spread. Or you can take 1 dice from the pouch, roll it, note it down, then put it back into the pouch and start over. This method increases the probability of having all sides of the dice. However, if you fall back on the same side, it is up to you to choose either to throw it again or to take it into account. Your choice must be made before the throw, which is very interesting actually, because if you throw a dice and you come up with, say, for instance, let's have the High Priestess, and you decide to write that down, put that dice back into the bag, and pull again, you pull a dice, and you happen to throw the High Priestess again. Do you put it back? Or do you take it that has come through a second time because you are being pushed or propelled to or guided to listen to your intuition, to see the High Priestess's qualities in yourself or in the other person that you're reading for? Are you not listening to what's going on around you, not paying enough attention to your gut feeling, to your intuition, and therefore it has come through a second time in order to say, oi, you, listen here, there's a message here for you and you're not paying attention? We could look at it 2 ways. It's down to how we feel at the time and what we feel is right for us. So let's have a look at the dice. Ooh, here we go. So there are 13 dice. Now I have to say, I do like them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I do like them. They're made of I'd say a resin, plastic resin, and they have got a silver sparkle in them. I don't know if you can see that silver sparkle. It's not easy to pick up on camera. If I go a little bit closer there, you can just about see it there, but it is very clear with the naked eye on this. It is, whoops, oh, here we go, I'm dropping everywhere. It is really, really aesthetically pleasing, and they are really nice to hold in your hand. My hands aren't big enough to hold 13 dice in one go, evidently. So let's have a look at the symbols on the dice. Now, when we pop the dice out and we look and we hold the dice, when we hold it down, we know it's the right way up because our either the Q for Queen or the numeric symbol is at the bottom left hand corner. So we know that that's a 6 and not a 9, because that way it would be upside down. And I sort of worked that out by looking at the letters for the courts. So there we have our King of Swords. There, if we turn it that way, our Queen of Cups. Here we have our Six of Swords. Make it a little bit more. This side we have the Moon. Now see how our mages don't seem to have a number on them, just the symbol. So this is where you're going to have to be au fait with the symbols on the dice. And that's where the cards could come in handy, because you could either refer to the cards. Yes, you can refer to the little black book when you're looking for the symbol. But if you just have your mages out there and if you use your cards, you can use them together just to guide you as to what the symbol is. We have our 9 of Pentacles there. And what else do we have on here? Our 3 of Wands. Now let's have a look. Now our Chariot on this, if you recall when I was showing you the cards, the Chariot was the sort of sun with all the planets, or it could be the Earth with all the planets in their orbit, or whichever it was. But this one here does not have the planets. It's just, it almost looks like a target. So for me, albeit that that's the same as in the cards, with the exception of the little planets sort of going around the solar system, it's more like you're aiming for a target, that you are your own driving force. You are steering yourself to a target going your way. So both ways they work, either this way, because that, like I say, that looks more like a target than the actual card did, because it sort of looked more planetary. There's the Lovers, interlinking rings. There's our Tower and the Star. See, so they really are nice. Let's try throwing one, shall we? I'll just pop them all in here. And we'll go with that question that was in the book, an example. What do I need to focus on today? So give them a good shake around in the pouch. It comes with the little pouch. Pull out a dice and roll it. Oh, and I have got this symbol here. I'm not 100% certain what that is. So let's have a look in the book. I don't want to see any keywords for now. I just want to know what that card is. Temperance. So what am I to focus on today? Temperance. And this is quite ironic that this should come up for me. Why do I feel I should focus on temperance? Why do I feel temperance has come up for me? I'm to focus on the peace and tranquility of life, of my life in particularly, because I tend to see the things that can cause me stress at times, not all the time, but recently I have focused more on things that could be a little bit deemed more stressful than peaceful. So taking some of my own advice that I would give to others, throw it over your shoulder, look at what's you've got coming and going, look at the peace and the tranquility and the support and the love and everything that's come, you know, going well in your life, as opposed to looking at what's going wrong, because that negativity will just drag you down, and really nobody has time for that shit, really, do we? In all honesty, we need to be focusing on the here and now, the positive of the here and now, and try and throw that negativity over our shoulder. Not always easy in the times in which we're living, but doable when you put your mind to it. And that is what I need to focus on. Get myself out the doldrums, get myself up and going, give myself that kick up the backside I need to say, hey, you're here, be happy. So, an example of a little reading with the tarot dice. Am I happy with them? I certainly am. I prefer the dice over the cards. The cards came with this that I backed. I chose this because I felt that I would need the cards in order to help me work with the dice. And it's just, for me, it's going to be just a case of learning the symbols as opposed to reading the keywords that come with the symbols, because they're just sort of generic keywords. They're not necessarily using your intuition per se. So, am I pleased with them? I am. So that is the Stardust Tarot dice, along with the Stardust Tarot. And remember, it's very minimalistic tarot, yet enjoyable. There's something nice about it. I do like it, and I am very happy to have it in my collection. Now, the next deck I'm going to look at with you is one that's been out for a little while. And it's one that I have hummed and hawed about for some time. And I decided, do you know what? Yes, I want it in my life. And that is the Modern Witch Tarot. Okay, I like the box it comes in, albeit you have to be very careful when lifting it up, because I went and lifted it up and it came out of the box. So the Modern Witch Tarot comes in a 2-part box that's very easy to open and close. Let's have a look at the blurb on the back. I like the images on the Modern Witch Tarot. So the blurb on the back just basically states, Modern Witch Tarot is a magical take on traditional tarot symbolism, inspired by fashion and modern witches from every walk of life. Spark your imagination, seek your inner wisdom, and discover your true power. Because we all have a true power, we just tend not to acknowledge it from time to time. With this deck comes a really neat little book. So before we look at the cards, we'll have a quick look at the book. It's a nice sort of, well, I don't know, it's a smooth covered book. It's been really well made, in if you compare it to just the sort of stapled together little white books that we could get in many of our tarot decks. So let's have a look. So my desk, Chariot. Make sure I don't rip the chair on the handle of my desk. Now, in this we have a foreword by Vita Ayala, an introduction, then our major arcana, minor arcana, a reading the tarot, and spreads. And to think, in this tiny little book we have the grand total of 56 pages. I always have a tendency to shoot straight to the back and have a look at what spreads they've got, you know, and if there's anything different. And what I like about this is one at the back here called the Inner Wheel, and it's taking the Wiccan annual calendar of festivals, the Wheel of the Year, and as an inspiration for this spread for self-exploration in times of change, and we're very much in times of change at the moment. Card 1, the significator, is selected and placed face up before the deck is shuffled. The querent should choose a court card as the significator to which they feel most affinity. Right, okay. So you choose your significator from a court card that you see yourself in. So the next card is Yule, what you are ready to let go of in your life. Number 3 is Imbolc, where your energy is best dedicated. Number 4, Ostara, how do you find balance in your process of change? Number 5 is Beltane, which is the fire that drives your expansion. Sorry, in this it's spelled Beltane. I was using the Celtic Beltane, the Irish Celtic Beltane. Excuse me. Litha is next, the turning point, divine inspiration. Lammas, what do you need to begin harvesting, literally or metaphorically? Mabon, how you will change. Feedback into those, how you will change Sorry, excuse me a second. Apologies, had a bit of a coughing fit. How will your change feed back into those around you? And Samhain, guidance from your ancestors if you're performing this reading on the day of Samhain. Draw one for your maternal line and one for your paternal line and one for the mighty dead, those who achieved much but have now passed on. So you can actually draw 3 cards for position 9. That's very exciting. I quite like that. I may give that a try, but you only do that if you are drawing it on Samhain. So there's the Cunning Path, an alternative reading of the 4 powers. There's the 4 powers, the 4-card spread, past, present, future and advice, positive, negative, result and advice, and then the 1-card spread. It gives you some information on reading the tarot there, and then we have notes on each of the cards, on each of the major arcana. And the minors too. So that's a really nice little book to have a look at. The cards themselves, it's a nice thick deck, nice and chunky as we would say. I like this. Those are the backs of the cards. I just like the pastel colour of that. And it says here, you are a badass being, full of life, love and possibilities. Through this deck, may you find the path to your best self. I like that. And here we are with this beautiful deck. It is glossy, but not overly glossy so you can't see it. You know, it's nice. It's a nice gloss. That's our Fool. And I love the modern take on this. The Fool, the beautifully blue-dyed hair, same colour as the back of this card. Her knapsack on her back, her iPod plugged into her ears, and just not caring. Not only is she heading on sort of blindly, but she's blocked out all the sound as well. Our Magician, our High Priestess, the Empress, Emperor, the Hierophant. I particularly like this Hierophant because I actually like her tattoos. We've got tattoos in exactly the same places. Have a look there. The Lovers. I can identify with this Chariot because this is how I would have loved to have been in my youth, only I was never allowed a motorbike. I've got an e-bike bicycle now, does that count? Strength, the Hermit, Wheel of Fortune, Justice, the Hanged One. Quite like that, the Hanged One. Death, Temperance. Temperance is really nice. I quite like that, Temperance. The Devil. Yep, our Devil. Same old lad. The Tower. This tower is rather interesting, that we have someone actually lying prone here who has been impaled on the rocks below. There's a little bit of a gruesomeness there that sort of goes, oh, yep, shit happens, you know. The Star, nudity alert. The Moon. The Sun. Judgment. And the World. Then we're going on to our minors. Ace of Wands. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Knight, Queen, and King. So those were our wands. Now we're going to move on swiftly to our cups. I like the muted tones in this. It's simplicity, it's simple in style, and the simplicity sort of makes it even more attractive. I have some Ace of Cups that are so grand and beautiful, but there's a beauty, a different beauty in this, purely because of the simplicity that's been used. Two of Cups, our Three of Cups, 4, 5, 6 of Cups, 7, 8, 9, 10, Page, Knight, Queen, and King of Cups. Okay, next we're moving on to the swords. I love the power, the feeling of power in the hand that's holding that sword. 2, 3 of Swords. Do you know this Three of Swords? I'm sorry to just stop you, and I've been flying through them, but what draws me to this Three of Swords is the blackness coming out of the pierced heart, as opposed to red. And albeit this card usually denotes heartache and pain and things perhaps coming to an end that we didn't want to come to an end, this to me is almost a positive in one sense, that the piercing of this is letting out a darkness, a negativity, and exposing possible things that were wrong in a relationship, as opposed to creating a negative feeling that, well, you know, it ended because it wasn't for you. It wasn't just not for you, or people double crossing you, etc. This is like there's something there that's been revealed to you, and it has helped you end whatever turmoil, whether it be in a relationship with another person, whether it be in a job relationship, a social circle relationship, that there was a badness there that's exposed itself, that has woken you up. And yes, it's caused you heartache because there's sort of a duplicitousness there, but it's sort of revealed to you a negativity or a side of someone or something that is not there for your higher good. And therefore it was a necessity that whatever it was ended in order for you to move on to things for your higher good. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. Then we have the Four of Swords. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, sorry, Page. Oh, wait, where's our 10? Did I have a 10 there? 9 of Swords. Where's our 10 of Swords? There should be a 10 of Swords. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just bear with me while I let the dog out. Oh gosh, I'm just laughing at my own silliness here. 9 of Swords. Where is my 10 of Swords? And I forgot the 10 of Swords is here. Okay. Now, I had put this at the end of the deck, so I might as well looked at it now. There's the Ten of Swords, and if you look there, you know, that's quite sad. But then we have another Ten of Swords. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. And I like that because it's almost showing an individual's determination to get up and carry on regardless of the pressure that's on them in life. That, you know, this is very modern, you know, and pressure can come to us now, not just from paperwork or from working in close quarters with other people, but we are constantly wired up to society. We're constantly at everybody else's beck and call because of technology, because we are so easily traceable. Trying to get that 5 minutes with nothing can sometimes be a little bit of an impossibility. And the demands that society places on us at the moment can have us feeling very much like this. But when we have our wherewithal, when we can see the positivity, and when we see, well, look, yes, it has worn me down, but everything's going to be all right. Everything is fine because I'm going to deal with each one of these issues. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to ensure that I don't allow life, society, people in general to make me feel like this again. And yes, everything is fine. I had forgotten all about that. I was starting to panic, think, what the hell happened to my Ten of Swords? So here's our Page, our Knight, our Queen, and our King. I do like that everything is fine, because sometimes that Ten of Swords can come up and it can make a reading feel a little bit on the negative side, and I just feel having a card like that that actually oozes positivity in what can be construed as being times of negativity or difficulty really does give you a lift. And will I use this in my deck as a card to read with, or will I use it as something to sit on my desk on a little stand, a little easel, to remind me that everything is fine? I'm going to do a bit of both. Depending on who I'm reading for with this deck will depend on whether I use this card or not. And at other times, it's going to be standing on my desk just to say, hey Murphy, pick yourself up, dust yourself down, everything's fine. And then we come to Pentacles. There's our Ace, our 2, and we have a nudity alert again for anybody that feels they may need it, a 3 of Pentacles, 4, 5, that reminds me very much of modern day student life, 6, 7, 8, I like that 8 of Pentacles, 9, 10, 'Page, Knight, Queen, and our King. So this is the Modern Witch Tarot, and it is extremely aesthetically pleasing. The standard of the cardstock is really high. It's a nice thick deck, as you can see. It's got a gloss on it, but not one that's overly glossy, and it really is a feel-good deck. I personally think it's a feel-good deck for me. There we go. By Lisa Stirl. Lisa, you've done a great job on this deck. I have to take my hat off to you. Now, what accompanied this deck? It was this. It is the Modern Witch Tarot Journal, also by Lisa Stirl. And it's got that lovely leatherette cover. It's nice and flexible, okay, and I like that in a journal. I do like that. Now, it's nice because although it's a tarot journal, you're not journaling by date, so you can work through this at your own pace, how it suits you to work through. There's space for you to write your own interpretation of cards, so you can it's absolutely beautiful. It's so aesthetically pleasing. I'm just to hold it like this that you can see. We have our introductory page here. Here, table of contents, and in that we've got introduction, card meanings, tarot readings, tarot spreads, tarot decks, books, online resources, tarot circles. So it actually gives you room in here to log your current tarot collection and to log your current tarot library. There's a foreword there which would be nice to read in your own time, and an introduction, and I like the images that go with them as well. We've got in here within the introduction how a tarot reading section makes you boil down your own interpretation to the pure essence. So what you do here, it's basically you write down, you have your card in front of you and you can write down keywords that you feel apply to that card and your general interpretation. What I like with this, it talks about card meaning, tarot reading spreads, decks, books, online resources, but it also talks about the tarot circle, and those are the people that you have within your esoteric circle, the people that you talk tarot with, that you can swap ideas and information, that you can swap intuitive readings, and it really does keep up your interest. But not only that, you learn so much more from each other. I don't feel that tarot is necessarily a sort of insular or singular practice. It's something you can practice with others. It's as social as you want to make it, or as insular as you want to make it. If you want to just have it something as yours and private, that's just every bit as good as sharing with others. It's entirely down to you. I love the art in this. It just adds so much colour. Card meanings, it goes on to tell you about card meanings, correspondences, reversals, and here we go. You know, we have keywords, reflections. So keywords, there are one-word ideas that really sum up the card, very handy when glancing at the journal for a quick reminder. Reflections, a space for those deeper thoughts. You might want to reference a notebook to take these further. Correspondences, how different systems work with the tarot, for example astrology or the elements. Can this bring more depth to the card, plus provide a good way of help recall their meaning? And then reversals, not everyone is a fan of using reversals, maybe choosing to ignore them is in a reading, plus it's one more complication to worry about when you're starting out in the tarot. But think about how the card would work from a different perspective. Could really nail your understanding of the card. There are many ways you might consider reversals, an amplification or dampening of the card's energy, areas that require work or are challenge or receding influences. Turn the card and see what inspiration comes to you, which is really good because, you know, do I read reversals? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. I don't know if it's a mood thing or how I feel, or if it's the energy that I'm getting from the querent, or even how I'm feeling on the day. Sometimes if it's been a fairly negative day, I try not to focus on reversals, but if a card comes up as a reversal, I'll just say, well, you know, or, you know, look at it from a different point of view. It's almost like getting the Hanged Man and saying, step back, look at this from a different angle. And that's how I sort of address a reversal myself. When we turn the page here, this is the page where we have these pages that we have the cards on. So here we have the Fool, keywords, correspondences, reflections and reversals. So we write the notes as to what we're getting, and it's a nice way to actually study the deck, you know. And what I do like about this is it is exceptionally handy for beginners, but you know, it's also exceptionally handy for us as seasoned tarot readers who are maybe looking for something different, something new, wanting to get in touch with something different. Now, yes, this has the modern witch deck inside here, But you can do this with a lot of other decks, because sometimes, I'm sure like myself, you find that you could have a look at, say for instance, the Justice card in one deck, and then look at the Justice card in another 2 or 3 decks, and get something slightly different from each of them, because it's all based on the image and how it pushes your intuition, how it might feed your intuition or encourage your intuition to think along different lines. And this goes on all the way through all the majors and the minors. Then what I like, we have tarot readings. So record your tarot readings. Okay, so you look at the question and you look at the spread you use, and you've got an area here in which to draw out your spreads. And this is a handy practice, something quite good to get involved in, and being able to go back and use it for a reference guide later on. And it's also a nice way to find out how you are comfortable with the spreads you use. And it's not just spreads that are created by others that have always been around since the dawn of time, like the Celtic cross, for instance, but new to you, things that you have created, things that you find comfortable, and why, you know. So you can, you know, make note of readings you're doing for other people, but this is obviously for your eyes only, because when you read for other people, that's very much a confidentiality thing. You also have room to, when this is spreads here, but then you can look further on and look at, let's just get to this next section here, interpretations, and you've got a lot of areas to write down interpretations of different readings that you've done. This goes on, creating your own tarot spreads. The page changes colour slightly where you're creating your own spreads. And also then you have places here to write down what decks you have, your wish list. If it's you write down the deck, the name of the creator of that deck or the author, and then you can tick it. Is it on your wish list? Is it a pre-order? Is it owned, or is it recommended? That's a nice sort of record to keep. You can refer back to. You might forget about it and think, oh yes, I remember wanting that deck. Why didn't I get it? And then you can go back later on to later date and purchase it. And it does the same for your books, any books that you might use for helping you learn to read tarot. And then another nice part to this, you've got a contact list that you can create your own tarot circle with, or clients that you read for on a regular basis. You can have their contact details in here, especially if they are regular clients that come back. You know, you've got a way to contact them should you find that you can't do a reading or need to change an appointment, etc, etc. That you can also pop there as well, what I like about it, in your inner circle, the name of the person, the phone number, the email address. Do you contact them on social media? Which platform do you use? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Favourite decks and interests. And it's really nice to have that sort of knowledge about people that you are sharing tarot with. That's more to do with your tarot circle. Also, if you're sharing tarot reading, so if you've got a meeting or a topic, if you get together, you know, date where who you read for and who read for you when you're doing these read swap nights, and any thoughts that you take away with you on that. And let's have a look. That's it really. Outer circles, so people that aren't necessarily close to you, but people that you might go for readings for you, or, you know, if you go to the Mind, Body and Spirit events, you can pop them in here. It's really, really interesting. I love it. So that is a lovely, handy little journal. You can carry it around, you can keep it in your desk. Mine stays in my desk because I don't want to dirty that cover. I just think it's just too beautiful. So that's that, folks. I am sorry, this has gone on quite a long time. I will try and shorten it in the when I'm putting it together to pop up on my YouTube. But in the meantime, have a lovely day. Whatever it is you're doing, enjoy your journey down the rabbit hole of everything that's esoteric, whether it be tarot, whether it be astrology, numerology, whether it be geomancy, my latest like, or whether it just be meditation, something that gives you peace. Totally enjoy, and I'll see you again soon. I'll try not to keep you too long next time. Bye now.